Hello, everybody. We're here with Jim from
Hey,
Flea Market Music. How are you?
Aloha, Aldrin.
Aloha. Happy New Year's.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you. It's always great to see you once a
Always
year
nice
here.
To see you. Always nice to see you. Seems like I see you everywhere.
And you too.
Famous face. Famous face. All right. So, what does Flea Market Music have in store for 2012?
Okay. Well, we've got some really fun things. The thing we're most excited about is we're going to do a follow-up to the Daily Ukulele.
Nice. Yeah, that was really popular last week.
Really popular.
Last year, I mean.
Yeah, and it was especially popular at the clubs too. So we want to do one more, and the hook is that this year is a leap year. So it's going to be the Daily Ukulele, the Leap Year Edition.
Leap Year Edition.
And it's going to have 366
Nice.
more great songs for better living.
One bonus song.
Right. So I'm going to be a busy boy this year.
Cool.
We've got to arrange 366 more songs.
What are some songs that you're already working on right now for that book?
I'm glad.
Any sneak peek for these guys?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. Actually, you know, I'm looking at everything. I'm consuming huge amounts of songs at the moment to narrow down the list. One song that I wouldn't have thought of was an old tune from the Allman Brothers. If you remember, Ramblin', Lord, I was born a ramblin' man. It works perfect on the
That's
uke.
awesome. That sounds cool.
It's a great song. It's 4 chords. It just jumps off the page. So there's an example.
Yeah, there's members from our site that do the daily ukulele, and they post their results on Ukulele Underground, which is really cool.
And in fact, I'd like to invite your audience to send me or email me suggestions for songs. They can write me at Jim@Flea Market Music.
Nice.
Pretty much between now and what's today, January 20th, to the end of February, let's say. I'm going to be really looking for song ideas. And in fact, if you can suggest a song that I haven't already thought of, we're going to collect names of people and put them in for suggestions.
That's cool.
So get me song suggestions, and we'll get your name in there if we pick it and we hadn't picked it already.
Right.
The criteria is we're just looking for great songs for the uke that aren't too hard, and that have kind of a good message.
Right.
and so that's going to keep us really busy this year.
Cool. So, anything else that's
Yeah, at the end of last year, we released this book, From Lute to Uke. This is just a really neat book. There isn't a lot of material for people who like to do classical instrumental. Lute is kind of the guitar, and of course the ukulele are in a sense descendants of the lute. And so the arranger for this, Tony Misen, who's from England, was a classical guitarist who liked to play lute music, and then he got into the uke and decided, or tried to anyway, take these guitar arrangements and reduce it down to 4 strings, and it's beautiful.
Nice.
It's just beautiful. It comes with a CD, and the CD is just so pretty, and all the arrangements are in tab.
Oh wow.
So it's just a lovely book.
Just easy to follow.
Easy to follow, and especially, there is that part of our market we know that don't sing. They're not singers. They're more, well, look, there's Jake.
Yeah.
There's Jake. He doesn't really sing
jammers,
much.
right? Just jammers.
Either jammers or else they're really fine players, but they make the uke do all the talking.
Right.
They don't sing. So this is perfect for those who want to do instrumental, and especially there isn't that much for classical lovers. So that's another one there.
Some more like Renaissance
Renaissance music.
Kind of thing, and medieval stuff.
In fact, for those who know or follow Sting did a whole record a couple of years ago of lute music, and a lot of those pieces are covered in this.
Nice.
So that's fun. I did a new DVD with Homespun tapes. They're based in Woodstock, and for those who've ever taken a workshop with me, I love to cover things like how to make the Pinky G, which I covered in the Daily Ukulele, picking patterns, performance tips. So this is about a 70-minute, 80-minute DVD of a lot of my workshop, techniques and things like that.
That's the same shirt that you're wearing.
It is. It's exactly the same shirt. Thank you for pointing that out. One really fun thing is that I'm a big fan of the Love and Spoonful, and I did this up in Woodstock, New York, which is where Homespun is based, and that's where John Sebastian lives.
Cool.
And so I wanted to teach the song, what a day for a daydream, and he lived in town, and he came over, and we do it together on the DVD.
That's special.
So that was really cool.
That's cool.
So there's that, and then our sister company, the Magic Fluke company, has had a banner year. This is a new soundboard for them. This is a walnut Fluke. And if you remember our banjo ukes, which are over on that table, we're now offering a Renaissance head, which is kind of a clear head. In addition to the fiber skin. The banjo uke, the Firefly we call it, has been a huge success.
That's cool.
It turned out that I thought it would be kind of a niche of a niche.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know how many
people are getting, banjo ukes.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's been a good year. I think I mentioned to you it started in January when we were contacted by Eddie Vedder's people, and it turned out that Eddie Vedder was a fan of our books. And he wanted to have a book that went with his CD, and so he asked if we could help him put together a book like Jumpin' Jim books that would go with the CD.
Is that out already?
It not only is out, it's completely sold out.
Wow.
They did 5,000 copies. It was great. Cool. The fan club put it out. It was hardcover. Nice. It was deluxe.
Nice.
Came with a CD, and they sold all 5,000 copies.
Great.
And so that was a really great experience, and he turned out to be a very cool guy.
Cool, right on.
So,
as far as flea market music and just as Jim Biloff, what's your goal for the ukulele community?
Well, I'll give you this perspective. When we started out, which is now almost 20 years ago when we published our first songbook, in those days people would often come by at Namm shows and they'd laugh. They'd probably sing Tiptoe Through the Tulips,
right.
And then they'd say, you think this thing will ever take off? Last year, people were saying, how long do you think this thing is going to last?
Right.
Like, I can't believe what has happened. And of course, for those who are not here, we can tell you that it's ukulele city here. I mean, there's so many manufacturers now. Nobody questions whether this instrument is back. It's not only back, it's mainstream. I did a workshop on Sunday at McCabe's, and yeah, it's just all ukes there. So it's huge. Now, we're so oriented to think in terms of trends, and the ukulele clearly has come and gone a couple of times before. We refer to this as the third wave. And so what's to prevent this from having the typical cycle? And the one thing that I keep thinking that I think is unique about this moment in time for the uke, and maybe this is a way of answering your question, is that what's unique about this wave are the clubs. The clubs, and I think that they're
keeping it alive. Yeah,
they're keeping it alive. They're keeping it relevant. You go to Sydney, Australia, and there are 10 ukulele clubs just in Sydney, Australia, with 300, 400 members each. There are clubs across the mainland. There are clubs in Hawaii. There are clubs around the world. There are clubs in Japan. And what you realize is that it is about the ukulele. It is about playing it and singing it. But what transcends even that is the social aspect of the instrument.
Definitely.
And that describes
togetherness,
That, I think, describes what goes on your website.
Definitely.
Right? It is a shared instrument that people love to talk about and to play and to jam. And I laugh and I say, well, maybe there are bassoon clubs, right? Maybe there are oboe clubs, but I've never heard of it. And I'm not even sure that I've heard of guitar clubs where there are 200 people that come together once a week on guitars. Maybe there are mandolin clubs, but I haven't really heard of it lately. But all over the world, there are maybe thousands of clubs where hundreds of people get together every week or every month to jam on ukes. What is it about this instrument that inspires that? And I think there's just something light about it.
There's something magical about it.
Magical about it. There's something happy about it.
I agree.
And also, it transcends age and gender. You go to a lot of these clubs, and there are a lot of folks in their 60s, 70s, 80s, women, men, children, teenagers. We see
that a lot in our forum and everything. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. So that, I am hoping, will make this wave just last.
There we go.
And so we're here for the long run.
We are.
And we so appreciate everything that you guys do, and we thank everybody for supporting what we do.
Cool, thank you so much.
Where
can we find flea market music?
You can find us on the web at Flea, FleaMarketMusic.com, Flea Market Music. And you can reach me if you want to send me song suggestions, jim@fleamarketmusic.com, and I'd love to hear from you guys.
Cool. Well, thanks so much, Jim.
Thank you, Aldrin.
Have a great one, and check them out, guys. Fleamarketmusic.com. Ukulele Underground signing off. Aloha.